Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy T for 365 Horror, and this is a horror movie discovery channel. I am just here to put as many horror movies on your watch list as possible. And today we're going to be looking at 7 brand new releases for you guys to watch and stream. So let's get into it right now. Now we are going to get into the video, but before we do, I've got to remind you guys to please like and subscribe if you like this content. Also, this video is best watched with the movie tracker. I like to use Letterboxd. It's just the easiest way to keep track of the movies that you've seen and want to see. I also want to touch on the availability of these titles, as I have personally went to each service and verified that these movies are available. And if you are having trouble seeing them, there is probably one of 2 reasons. One, you might be region locked. And the other reason is if you are using any of the alternative media sites or any of the free stuff, a lot of these movies just came out yesterday, so they really won't show up on those sites for a couple days. And lastly, this is just a preview. These are not reviews and recommendations. As always, I've included chapters and timestamps in the description, so if you don't like any of my trailer reactions or any of the movies I've picked, you're always free to skip to the next one. And if you did want some reviews and recommendations, then I suggest you watch my Every Movie I Watched in a Month series, my You Should Watch series, or any of my movie list series. This here is just a little something for the diehards like me that are always looking for something new to watch. And with that, let's get right to the movies. So the first movie we're going to take a look at is a drama horror thriller by the name of Dead Male. And this movie is available on Shudder and AMC+. An ominous help note finds its way into a 1980s post office, connecting a dead letter investigator to a kidnapped keyboard technician. It is directed by Joe DeBoer. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Dead Male, this looks like a pretty good kidnapped drama horror. Now, I didn't see any traditional creeps or scares in the trailer, but it did look like it could have some good escape tension. Now, I also didn't see a lot when it came to the gore, but I think we could get some really good torture moments. Now, when it came to the production for this one, it definitely hit me with more of a gritty feel, but it almost struck me as B-movie-ish. But when it came to the strength of the performances in the film, I felt like if it does look a little B-movie-ish, it's definitely a design choice. Now, I really like the premise on this one because I think it's going to give us a good sense of detective work as we watch the main character kind of work through the mysterious origins of this note and where it came from. And I think that slower investigative element will kind of offset the other character's story arc, which is going to be a much more kind of adrenaline-filled, tense escape story. Now, I thought that Dead Male looked like a pretty good indie offering from the producers of The Barbarian and Late Night with the Devil, so I think this one's going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
I believe I mislabeled a package. I'm wondering what course of action I could take.
It's digital too. We'll figure out where to redirect it.
And what if by chance you cannot?
That's when things get interesting. It's like someone's playing a dirty job. We had this fella, a genius really, Jasper, who can track down anything.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a drama horror thriller named Woman in the Yard. And this movie's available on Apple TV, Google Play, and Prime Video. A mysterious woman repeatedly appears at a family's front yard, often delivering chilling warnings and unsettling messages, leaving them to question her identity, motives, and the potential danger she might pose. It is directed by Jami Colette Serra. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Woman in the Yard, this one looks like a decent supernatural horror. Now, when it came to the creeps and scares, I thought that this one was pretty good because not only did the woman in the yard have like a really good creepy look, but I thought that we saw a lot of good supernatural scenes that really set the stage for some ample scares. Now, when it came to gore in the trailer, I didn't really see much at all, and by virtue of a couple of the scenes, we might see some blood, but I just don't think the movie's going to be very gory. Now, the production and acting looks good in this one. Right from the cinematography, the movie feels big budget, and I just didn't think any of the performances came off unnatural at all. Now, I did enjoy the premise of this one, and it looks like another movie this week that's going to inject some good mystery into its plot. I just love it when mysterious, ominous figures kind of bring these messages of doom, especially when they come true. Now, I thought that woman in the yard looked like a good, creepy, supernatural horror that's gonna get a regular spot on my watch list.
Hey, Mom, there's a woman in the yard.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Where'd she come
I
from?
don't know that either. Maybe she's dead.
Mama.
Next movie we're gonna take a look at is a straight horror named Call of the Void. And this movie is available on Amazon Prime. After the death of her brother, Moray tries to escape to a cabin in the woods when her retreat is derailed by a college band and their suspicious professor. They encounter a mysterious hum that once heard, there is no return. It is directed by James B. Cox. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Call of the Void, this one looks like an alright psychological folk horror. Now, when it came to the creeps and scares, I thought the film looked like it had some good heebie-jeebies in it, especially with its like middle of the nowhere in the woods setting. Now, I didn't really see much gore in the trailer, but honestly, this one could go either way because you do get that good circle of friends vibe, so it just gives me the feeling that at least the movie would have a lot of victims. Now, when it came to the production for this one, it does look passable, and although the character work was pretty good, there were just a couple of scenes in the trailer where it came off just a tiny bit wooden. Now, when it comes to the premise of this film, this is another one that I like because I just like the idea of like a mysterious sound that scrambles your brain or entrances you. And I really thought that the questions around this sound and what it did are really going to help build a pretty good mystery in the movie. Now, Call of the Void looks all right, and I do think that its setting could give us some pretty good creeps and scares, and I do like the mystery that it kind of built around this sound, so I think that that is a little bit intriguing. So I think this one's going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
Hi, my name is Lucy. I just wanted to apologize for all the noise last night. I actually came up here to have some time to myself. Well, actually, we're going to the mountain. If you want to come, you're totally welcome.
We're gonna take the trail up this way to a flat area called Fiddler's Green. Once we're up there, I'm gonna take each of you to your solo spot. As long as you don't wander off, you should be fine.
But yesterday, on that hike, something happened.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a straight horror named It Feeds, and this movie's available on Amazon Prime.
Don't be scared. It's worse if you're afraid.
After a young girl bursts into their home psychiatry practice claiming an entity is feeding on her, Jordan and her clairvoyant mother must find a way to stop the force before the girl is taken completely. It is directed by Chad Archibald. Okay, so after watching the trailer for It Feeds, this one looks like another alright supernatural horror. Now, when it came to the creeps and scares, I think that's going to be the shining point of this one, just because there was some really good instances of creeps, and I think through these jarring visions that the character has, we're going to get some pretty good jump scares as well. Now, for gore, I'm going to be honest that some of the victims did look grody, kind of in that like possessed, grayed over eyes, decaying skin kind of way. But other than that, I didn't really see any kind of visceral gore, so I don't think the movie's going to be like really gory at all. Now, the production and acting in this one was good. I thought the production just had like a really good clean look to it, but I just felt like some of the characters definitely came off wooden. Not so much the main character, but some of the supporting characters just felt kind of unnatural. But honestly, I could be being a little too hard in that regard because they could just have like really small parts in the movie. Now, the premise for this one is another area where I just felt a little bit underwhelmed because it wasn't like overly interesting to me. And even though they're not going to probably push the envelope thematically because this is a very kind of run-of-the-mill story, I just hope that we get a really good possession story and good execution. Now, It Feeds looks all right with some pretty good creeps and scares in it, so I think this one's also going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
Hi. Can I help you? I need to speak to Cynthia Winsor. I need help. I see things.
What kind of things?
There is something attached to that girl. Something terrible. We don't know these people. We can't trust them.
Mom, I'm seeing it.
All right, next movie we're going to take a look at is a horror thriller named iPossessed. And this movie is available on Apple TV, Google Play, and Prime Video.
So many secrets.
What begins as a housewarming party for Tad turns into a tormenting night, leaving each attendee grappling to face their past, haunted by their own worst regrets. It is directed by Jerry Summer and Carl Remy. Okay, so after watching the trailer for iPossessed, this one looks like a decent possession horror. Now, when it came to the creeps and scares, I could see maybe a couple of jump scares here and there, but nothing really stood out to me or creeped me out about the possession. Now for gore, we do see a couple of gory scenes, and again, with the Circle of Friends vibe, at least we know that there's going to be a good variety of victims. So while I don't think that this movie is going to necessarily have a ton of gore, I think the jury is still kind of out on it. Now, when it came to the production element of the film, I did think that the quality and cinematography looked okay, and I thought that the acting was definitely passable and above B-movie level. Now, the premise for this one was just a little bit lackluster and didn't really offer me anything new. I mean, it just felt very traditional. You had like the eyes kind of blacked out. You had the synthesized voice. You had the demon knowing and revealing all of these like deep, dark secrets of the character. I mean, those are all not new. They're all elements I like in a possession, especially when they're done well, because, you know, it could really just bring a lot to the movie, but it is nothing new at the end of the day. Now, iPossessed looks like a pretty good movie that maybe we've seen before, but I just don't feel like we've had a lot of possession films come across our table, so I am kind of excited to watch it, and I think this one's going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
Dad's old radio. It said something to me.
Oh, what'd it say?
A warning.
So? Any idea how this thing got inside my sister?
Whatever has a hold of Zoe has something planned for us too.
Don't ever think I don't have your secrets in my possession.
Who are you?
Okay, next movie we're going to take a look at is a crime horror thriller named Night At Skye, and this movie's available on Prime Video.
Well, just don't do anything too stupid.
When down on his luck, family man and ex-soldier Cole Boyd gets drawn into a scheme to rob Skye's pawn shop, a front for a ruthless gang of meth-making bikers known as the Spiders, a group led by the enigmatic and evil Doc. A bad idea turns into a blood-soaked nightmare. It is directed by Chris Griga. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Night At Skye, this looks like a little bit of a middle-of-the-road crime horror. Now, when it came to the creeps and scares, I just didn't see many, and I could see it having maybe a jump scare or two just by the nature of it being kind of like a crime action type of movie, but I don't think we're going to get much else. Now, when it came to the gore, I actually thought that it looked pretty good in this film. There was plenty of blood and gross scenes, and I felt like when they put blood soaked in the description, it definitely was fitting. Now, unfortunately, I wish it just looked a little bit better when it came to the production and acting. Now, the production for this one looks all right, definitely a step above B-movie. I just felt like the acting kind of came off a little bit wooden and stilted, but honestly, I think it's just a very straightforward narrative. I don't think we're going to get any kind of deep, big-brained anything in this movie, so I don't think that they're going to have to rely on any deep emotions anyway. Now, the premise for this one is okay for what it is, like criminals setting up a score and stumbling across like these dark, evil experiments. And depending on like some of the kind of more action scenes and the atrocities we see with these experiments, I hope it just gives us something like shocking. Now, Night At Skye, it looks just a little bit meh, I'm gonna be honest. And the only reason why this one isn't getting a skip is because I do think that there is some good substantial gore in the film. So I think this one's going to get a little bit of a lower priority on my watch list.
I don't know, you're gonna say this is a crazy idea, but we're gonna rob Skye's.
You're gonna rob a pawn shop.
Place is a front for meth dealers, dude.
You stay in the vehicle, Tom watches the door, me, Dale, Robbie Ray, take him to the back. Nobody gets hurt.
All right, guys, last movie we're going to take a look at this week is a straight horror named Crazy Texas. And this movie's available on Prime Video.
Look for the light.
Amidst the festive spirit of Christmas in a small Texas town, two sisters find themselves embroiled in a dangerous struggle to safeguard their family wealth and deeply held religious convictions. It is directed by Francis Juarez. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Crazy Texas, this one looks like a little bit of a meh cult religious horror. Now, when it came to the creeps and scares in the film, I didn't really feel that much from the trailer, but just by the nature of these sisters being held captive, I could see them kind of giving us some escape tension. Now, when it comes to the gore in this film, I just didn't see much, so I do think it's safe for the gorehounds to skip this one, but it does give some pretty good allusions to some pretty brutal, violent acts. The only problem is even in the trailer, it kind of obscures it, so I'm just not sure if those are going to be cutaway scenes or if they're going to be something brutal that we see in all its glory. Now, when it came to the production, I did feel like it was a little bit lower on this one, and while you weren't getting like grainy handycam, I did feel like it was only kind of a step or two above it. And to be honest, the acting kind of felt a bit off as well, like not eye-rolling, but it definitely wasn't compelling. And this is going to sound really weird and maybe I'm just off base, but I also felt like the two girl characters, they just didn't even really fit the setting of the movie. Like, I just didn't feel like their characters really fit into it. But again, I don't know the plot, so maybe that fact plays into the plot, but I just didn't feel like it meshed properly. Now, the premise for this one wasn't bad. We get these two sisters who are kind of wrapped in this inheritance feud, and maybe how they kind of pit the sisters against each other, we could get something interesting. But just for myself, I'm just not that big of a fan of kind of cult religious horror. Like, there are good ones like Midnight Mass and other really good cult stories. I just find them kind of few and far between. I find they usually come off as like a more tame slasher unless the cult is like really twisted and weird. Now, Crazy Texas wasn't bad, it just wasn't gripping me, and I do get this feeling that the movie could have like some slower points. I don't know why I feel that, it's just my opinion. So I think Crazy Texas is going to get a lower priority on my watch list.
It has to do with our grandparents' inheritance, and we're just completely not agreeing on the whole situation.
Money can be a complicated thing. The victim shall return, who will control and consume. You must follow my guidance. And once Avery is deemed unfit, the whole inheritance will be yours.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for another episode of brand new releases for you guys to watch and stream. I hope you liked this video, and if you did find a couple of gems for your watch list, please leave me a like and subscribe. Now, if I had to make a couple of picks this week, the first movie I'm probably going to pick is Dead Male. I just thought it had a really good premise. I like the kind of 80s throwback. I think detective work is a lot more compelling in the 80s because they don't have all of the technology. So I find that they have to work so much harder to come to like the same conclusions that like a couple cameras like come to today. So I like that element, and I did like the juxtaposition of the plot where the other guy, he's also trying to escape and he's kind of a captive. And the main character, who was the captor, he did look weird. He did some weird things, like the way he swung a hammer. It just looked very kind of not weird, but raw. So that's going to be my first pick of the week. And when it comes to my second pick of the week, I think I'm going to be a dirty cheater and kind of split my pick between two movies, and those are It Feeds and Call of the Void. Mainly because I feel like both of them embody this kind of creepy, scary, supernatural element to it, and I do like to be scared, so I did think that those two movies looked pretty creepy, and they both were kind of neck and neck. Like, they both had good elements to them. Like, I thought Call of the Void looked like it had a really good creepy setting, being in the woods and stuff like that, and then I feel like It Feeds kind of had this creepy exorcism medium vibe that looked like it had some really good kind of flash of moments and visions. So those are going to be my two picks because I do like to be scared, so those are my other two picks of the week. Well, guys, that's it for me for real this time, as I have got a ton of movies to watch. If you made it this far into the video, I want to thank you. I appreciate you. I have a good feeling that we are going to be hitting 5,000 this week, so I want to thank each and every one of you for the support. I hope you guys are finding a lot of good movies and good value. I love doing this. It's fun. It's fun hearing what you guys think. I just think it's really awesome that we're making some good growth. I love talking about horror movies. I don't have that many people in my life that I can really talk to this stuff about, which is why I started the channel, which is why it is more of a vlog, that's why you get a lot of my feelings. I'm here to kind of converse. I know it feels a little one-sided at times, but I do feel like I'm kind of conversing with you guys. So again, 5,000. I didn't think the day would never come, but I am so happy that the day is coming. I'm super happy for it. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you for all the support, watching the videos, and just, yeah, rocking with me. So thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Don't go. Don't leave me.